Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in, and I have some New York Knicks news for you guys. And it's going to be about the New York Knicks and how they're interested in OG Anunoby when it comes to the NBA trade deadline. As you guys know, that's coming up very soon. It's coming up in February, and it's nearly February already. It's January 30th. It's crazy, just like the months, how they're going by so fast this year. So, as you guys know, the Toronto Raptors have not been successful this season, and it looks like the Raptors are going to be exploring potential trades, or they're going to be looking down at the roster. How can they improve this team? Or maybe they're like, we need more upside. Let's try to trade this player for draft picks. So, the whole storyline is OG Anunoby and how the Suns are interested in OG Anunoby, the New York Knicks are interested in OG Anunoby. Those are the two top suitors right now. And when you take a look at this, reading this report to you guys, it says the Toronto Raptors are the one team that could move this trade deadline from a dud to shaking up the playoff race. There are 29 other GMs waiting to see what Masai Ujiri will do, and when they called, they've been told the franchise will make a decision about being a buyer or a seller or standing pat near deadline day. Reports from Shams. If Toronto does decide to trade a player beyond the expected Gary Trent Jr., then the Knicks want to be at the front of the line for defensive wing OG Anunoby. Shams reports the Knicks and Suns are among the interested suitors in Raptors forward OG Anunoby, sources say. New York has shown a willingness to offer multiple first-round picks for Anunoby, according to those sources. The Suns, meanwhile, have control of all their first-round picks, 8 in total through 2030. SNY first reported the Knicks' interest last week. So, obviously, you hear multiple first-round picks, and you guys may think that's crazy, but you have to think about the true context of those picks. Are they protected? Are they unprotected? The New York Knicks have 2 first-round draft picks this year, and they're most likely not going to be high. Worst-case scenario, the New York Knicks end up in the play-in, and that still won't be a very high draft pick. So we have the Mavericks pick. The Mavericks are going to be successful as long as they have Luka Doncic. They have other solid pieces as well, but they're going to be good regardless. They're going to probably be a top 6 seed. They're going to be the 6th seed at worst if they somehow fall off a cliff. And then you take a look at the New York Knicks. I think we're going to be a playing team at worst. So I do think we're going to have to throw a player in there. But I said there, multiple first round picks. But you also have to think about Leon Rose. What has he really done with those first round picks since he has come here? So he has drafted Obi Toppin. He did draft Obi Toppin. And Obi Toppin, when you think about him back in the 2020 NBA draft, we thought Randall was going to be traded. We thought Obi Toppin was going to have a huge opportunity to be in that starting spot. Next to RJ Barrett, we thought it was going to be a young team, total new regime. Tom Thibodeau's coming in. Randall has this pop-off year. And Obi's minutes really never got consistent. Obi never got consistent minutes here with the New York Knicks. I believe the most minutes per game that he has averaged with the Knicks is 17 or 18 minutes. Literally last season, Taj Gibson still got more minutes than Obi Toppin. And then you're seeing this season, yes, Obi suffered a couple injuries, but you see with Randall's play going up, Tibbs playing starters a lot of minutes. Obi has never really gotten a true opportunity. Yes, there's things he has to work on, like defensive discipline. He could fall for a lot of ball fakes. You could say having more of a consistent three-point shot, post-up game, being consistently engaged defensively. But we know he's a cutter. We know he's athletic. You're not going to really be put in the position to be successful if you're getting inconsistent minutes, if you don't know what your role is, and if you're not being played throughout your strengths. So it is Obi Toppin's, 4th year in the league or 3rd season in the NBA. So we could like Obi all we want, and I like Obi, and I don't think it's his fault at all. Yes, there's some things he needs to work on, but he's been in a position to fail with the New York Knicks. I think we have to accept that we have failed Obi Toppin, and we throw Obi Toppin in this deal if we are interested in OG Anunoby. I'm not saying that I 100% want Obi. I'm not saying I 100% want OG Anunoby, but that's the true reality that we have failed Obi Toppin. We can't be selfish. We have to do what's best for his career, and maybe the Raptors find a role for him coming off the bench because obviously, they do play Siakam at the 5. Christian Kolokolo doesn't start there anymore, but maybe they do find a role for Obi Toppin over there in Toronto because they're just really good at developing players. You see OG Anunoby was in the G League, Fred VanVleet was in the G League, Siakam was in the G League. They all turned out to be very successful NBA players. So I do think we're going to have to throw a player in the deal because you look at Masai Ujiri. He's one of the most successful GMs in the league, and he's very good at developing talent. He has a really good eye for the roster. So he's definitely going to take a look at the New York Knicks roster. If it comes down to this, if he's interested in trading OG Anunoby at the deadline, he's going to be looking through the roster like, all right, this guy intrigues me. Or maybe it's even a Quentin Grimes. I'm just speculating here. I'm not saying we would go on to trade Quentin Grimes, but it's definitely going to have to be a player. It's going to have to be multiple first-round draft picks. And I don't think Leon Rose really values first-round draft picks like that. After I named Obi Toppin, yeah, he kind of does, yeah. He did select Quentin Grimes with a first-round draft pick, 25th overall pick, quickly. He traded back, but we haven't seen him really be aggressive and trade up with those first-round draft picks. We haven't really seen him be aggressive and actually use those first-round draft picks for a star. But if there is a star down the line that he's finally aggressive, it's just like, well, we spent them on OG Anunoby, so it's really tricky the way it's really tricky. You have to use these first-round draft picks the right way. Depends how much you value OG Anunoby, and OG Anunoby would definitely help out this team. Do I think he's a future star? I don't know. Maybe does end up being a star. He's a good player right now. He's 25 years of age. He's averaging 16.8, 16.9 points per game, 5.5 rebounds. He's the forward. RJ could slide over to that 2 position. If some Knicks fans like him at the 2, some Knicks fans like him at the 3, but he's 6'7". You take a look at RJ, 6'6", but OG Anunoby is a thick, strong 6'7". So he is someone that scores the ball. He can make the solid reads, basic reads out there on the floor. He's pretty solid when it comes to spacing the floor. He is shooting 36% from 3, but he has shown in consecutive years that he's capable of shooting it like even at a higher clip of 39%. So he does bring floor spacing ability, and he does bring defensive versatility. He's one of the best defensive players in the league. He's very engaged. He plays really hard. He plays strong. He plays physical. Long wingspan. He's athletic. He could even bulldoze his way to the basket. But he's averaging 2 steals per game. He's been one of the best defensive players in the league. He has the capability of defending the interior, defending the outside, and that's what we need to work on, defending the three-point line. But you could also say maybe it's the defensive scheme, and he's someone that likes to cut. He's someone that likes to utilize his athleticism as well. So how would he be utilized in this offense as well with the Tom Thibodeau? Would he be played without his strength, throughout his strength? So I do think OG Anunoby would help this team be better. He's someone that can create, like get to the basket, shoot the shot from the outside, make an unselfish read, occasionally knock down a mid-range shot as well. So do I think he would fit this team? Definitely. And if you take a look at his contract situation, he's actually under control through 2024 because he signed this 4-year, $72 million contract back in 2021. But this is the big concerning thing with OG Anunoby. And you could say maybe it's picky because OG Anunoby does improve your team, but it's how much better do you get? If you trade those first-round draft picks, are you ever going to bring in a star in the future? Or maybe some Knicks fans are like, I don't even think we're never even getting a star at this point, like with our luck. But it's just like, are we just like mid? Like, are we ever going to be coming close to winning a championship with that group? Or do some people expect RJ to still take that next leap next year? Like I was talking with my friend MH, and I'm not saying it's going to be Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has unbelievable athleticism. He's more natural off the bounce, but his points didn't really skyrocket until year 5. So how is it going to be for RJ Barrett? Everyone's development is different, but when it comes to a field perspective, overall athleticism, Jaylen Brown is at a totally different level. But OG Anunoby, I do like him. But multiple first-round draft picks, a player. Obi, we have failed. We just have to accept that. In my opinion, we just have to accept that. There's always that tease. Oh, he gets 20 minutes, he pops off, and then he gets 12 minutes. I'm like, no, we've just failed this dude in New York. So the big concern here is the amount of games OG Anunoby has played throughout his career. He is not consistently staying healthy. So if we do get this guy on a contract, can we count on him to consistently start? So you take a look at his first season in the NBA, he played 74 games. Second season, 67 games. Third season, 69. So maybe you could say, oh, those aren't so bad. But then look at 2020, 43 games he played. 2021, 48 games. And then 45 games. So you could say maybe it's fine this season. But 48 games, 43 games like before, that's kind of concerning. And he's out with an injury as of right now as well. But you look at his points this season. By the way, last season he did average a career best 17.1 points per game. He's 25 years of age. He's averaged 16.9 points per game so far this season, 5.5 rebounds per game, 2.1 steals, 0.8 blocks as well. He's good at getting deflections, making a heads-up play on the defense side of the basketball. 82% from the free throw line. Will be getting someone that's capable of knocking down free throws. Gets to 3 times per game. Not at a crazy rate, but you also have to understand he's not one of the top, or he's not the top option offensively. But I'm not saying that's his role at all. He'd probably be the 4th best scorer in the lineup if he comes over here. He's shooting 36.6% from 3. But he had 2 years in a row that he did shoot 39% from 3, shoots 5 threes per game, shoots 45.7% from the field, 13.7 field goal attempts, and 35.8 minutes per game. And then he played 36 minutes the season prior. So he is used to getting a good amount of minutes. So when it comes to a conditioning standpoint, yeah, maybe he'll work out over here in New York. But you look at the games he's played lately, that is concerning. Like the last couple seasons, even before this season. That is kind of scary, in my opinion, if he could hold up. Like, he's literally out with an injury right now. But when you look at the lineup of, like, you'll have a Brunson, RJ, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson, that looks like a good squad on paper. How far does that squad go? I think OG is a player that knows his role. He's not selfish. He knows when to attack. He knows when to shoot 3. He knows when to make the extra pass. He competes. Like, he plays hard defensively. So I think that's a move that Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau can agree with. But let me know down below your thoughts. Should we trade for OG Anunoby? Is he like multiple first-round draft picks? It may sound crazy to the public, but you just think about it. Like, every time like we acquire a first-round draft pick or we acquire draft picks, if it was on draft night or all that, like I've always had this conversation with you guys. What's the point of having these draft picks if we don't utilize them? Like, what's the point of it? And you can't trade picks in back-to-back years as well. You also have to think about that at the top of your head. But Masai Ujiri, one hell of a GM. He knows what he's doing. But let me know down below your thoughts. Would you make this move? Peace out, y'all.